Personal command.
Hey
Deploy the
everybody.
fleet.
Today we're going to be jumping into the new set from Star Wars Unlimited. They just did a reveal, Jump to Lightspeed. This is the fourth set. We knew the name when they did the reveal a few months back. That and the other two sets for the 2025 year. I did a live stream on my YouTube channel. Before we jump in, just want to say, make sure if you're not subscribed, to subscribe. We're going to be doing more content coming up ahead. Playing games, deck building, doing more just cards, card reviews, insight stuff into the product. So yeah, to make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with everything, and make sure just to interact with it. And we're just here to have fun and chill out and talk about Star Wars Unlimited. So yeah, let's get into the article now. So we're starting off with the release of Twilight of the Republic. The first year of Star Wars Unlimited has come to a close. Of course, this party is only just getting started. Now it's time to turn our gaze to the stars because a new set is on the horizon, and this time it is all about space. Okay. So we're looking at the official first look at Jump to Lightspeed. This is the thrilling fourth set of Star Wars Unlimited. All three of the first year sets have had a heavy focus on ground battles, with far more ground units than space ones. Although some can say that we are already seeing a space meta develop with Jango Red, the Jango Tarkin Town, showing off that you can do a deck basically with space units as the majority. I mean, with a few ground units for pinging to get to proc Jango Leader's ability, but I mean, space has been prevalent, but now it's going to be super prevalent because apparently they're introducing the piloting keyword, which a lot of us kind of predicted that this was going to happen. They were going to add in some sort of pilot thing with the set. It only made sense with it being a space themed set. So this is going to be interesting, looking into the meta going forward with this. So let's jump in. So we're talking about spotlighting the leaders. So we already have some really, really good art for Boba and Han. Looks like we're getting a third Boba and a third Han leader already. Albeit the Boba has the first one banned, so technically there's only two playable at when this comes out. There'll only be two playable unless they unsuspend for Boba 1, the yellow black Boba. But yes, 3 Hans and 3 Boba leaders. So to kick things off, we have a pair of leaders to show you. In past sets, the first 2 leaders revealed would come from the set's 2-player starters. However, starting from Jump to Lightspeed and for every set onward, a 2-player starter will no longer be part of the product lineup. Instead, this set introduces a new product type to the fold, the Spotlight decks. Spotlight decks are pre-built decks that contain a mixture of cards from multiple sets. So that's interesting. That is interesting. So it's going to have cards for multiple sets. So it's going to have cards from I'm assuming the first 3 sets, as opposed to what we currently have with the 2-player starter product, which is actually just 2 constructed decks from, I believe it's just from the cards from the set that they're in. So that's going to be interesting. I feel like this is going to be more of an interesting product to buy if you're new, right? You can just, you want to dip your toes into it. You can buy one of these spotlight decks, right? Of either one of these leaders. And it looks like it's going to come with like cards from multiple sets, so it could be actually a lot more competitive than these 2-player starters, which were basically meant to just combat each other in a game, just to get you and another player kind of like interested and learn the rule set quicker. So looks like you could buy this. If you're new, buy one of these, jump into like a store, a weekly store play, or maybe play with some friends that already have some cards, and you already got like a deck that can probably perform pretty good, as opposed to those 2-player starters, which were kind of just their own environment testing or battling. So yeah, each spotlight deck contains 5 special rarity cards, so that's pretty much like the 2 players, one of which is the leader card. Makes sense. 2 spotlight decks will reset, so it basically means that there's the 2-player starters, but they're split up into two. So that's going to be an interesting thing moving forward, doing that. So let's just jump into the first one. We got Boba Fett, the third Boba Fett leader. He's red-black this time. Subtext is any methods necessary. So this, already looking at this, you can already see this is going to be crazy. This is definitely interesting. Super interesting how they're going to be doing this forward. So, and as you can see, there's, let's just start from the leader side because there's a lot to talk about. So he has his ability. It's, his trigger is when you deal non-combat damage, right? So from a card effect, something like that. You may exhaust this leader. If you do, you can deal 1 indirect damage to a player. Okay, so indirect's a new keyword or a new phrasing or a new way of dealing damage to someone. It says, it explains it as that player assigns 1 unpreventable damage among their base and units. So let me just zoom in real quick. Yeah, so that's interesting. Unpreventable damage. So I'm wondering if that's going to be able to proc off or hit the Lurking TIE Phantom, which has that can't be damaged effect from abilities. But if it's unpreventable and it's indirect, I would assume it can be. I don't know. So anyways, we got epic action. So, right, if you control 6 or more resources, choose 1. So no longer are we flipping the ground now, as the only ability. We got 2 options with these leaders, right? So you can deploy the leader as normal. He becomes a 6-drop ground unit for 4/7, right? Or you can deploy this. This is the interesting part. You can deploy this leader as an upgrade on a friendly vehicle unit without a pilot on it, right? It's a 4/7 if he's on the ground, no abilities, kind of vanilla. But if he goes into a vehicle, he flips into that, right? This is going to be crazy. The unit that he's attached to now, he's like an upgrade, right? That unit is now a leader unit. Right? So you're like, I'm already imagining Slave 1 from the first set, right? Or Fett's Fire Spray from the first set. You're going, I think it's a 6/6, right? For 6. So same turn as Biz Boba's flipping. You have a 6/6 readied Fett's Fire Spray because you have Boba as a leader. Flip this onto Fett's Fire Spray. Now that Fett's Fire Spray is the leader unit, right? So that means it can't be vanquished. Can't be vanquished, right? Can't be waylaid because it's a leader unit. We got, and then when it flips on it, right, it deploys an upgrade. It has a deal up to 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of units. So that's already like a built-in overwhelming barrage. And he's also buffing that ship with a +4/+4. I mean, you're looking at a 10/10 Fett's Fire Spray on the flip with 4 damage divided as you choose. You can take out, you can ping some units, take them out, whatever, and then you swing in. You're looking. I mean, that is bananas. That is crazy. So let's look here. So they're talking about Boba Fett. He's number 9 in the set. Coded as number 9. Specializes in indirect damage, a new mechanic introduced in the set. When his leader side's ability is triggered, you can exhaust Boba to deal 1 indirect damage to your opponent, which means they must choose one of their units or their base and assign 1 unpreventable damage to it. I think that's gonna go off with the Lurking TIE Phantom, but we'll see the rulings. So Boba Fett and the other Spotlight deck leader, which we'll cover in a moment, it's gonna be Han Solo, is also our first instance of a leader with 2 different deployment options. So this was an interesting way of doing this. I thought with this set they were gonna have a leader that just flips to space, right? So like it was gonna be Boba Fett. My original thoughts was it was gonna be Luke and Vader as like a 1-year anniversary thing. So Luke was gonna flip to space in his Red 5 in his X-wing and be a space unit. And then Vader, on the other hand, was going to flip into his TIE Advance, the Black One from A New Hope, and he was going to fly into his, right, in space. So now they're not doing that. And I kind of like this. This is actually a lot more different than what I was thinking. This is actually, this is going to be interesting. So you can either come on the ground as a unit, right, or he can be flipped as the pilot upgrade into a vehicle. Now, that doesn't mean even space units, right? Vehicle can be ground, or it can be space, which is interesting. But obviously, he's going to have some perks if he goes into Slave 1, or Fett's Fire Spray. Slave 1, Fett's Fire Spray, same thing. It's Slave 1 to me. Still is. Turning that unit into your leader unit and seriously bolstering its stats. He also has an ability that triggers when he's deployed as an upgrade, letting him deal decent chunk of damage to your opponent. Yeah, so like I said, that mini overwhelming barrage is going to be crazy. I can't wait to. It's going to be cool to just pull off if you can. Shouldn't be too hard. Obviously, the opponent can waylay or defeat the fire spray if they play it and you know you're going to do that. So you gotta kind of think ahead with some of the play lines. But they're also introducing pilots that aren't leaders, right? So we already got Bosk here. He's number 187. He's a 4-drop yellow black. So our second Bosk unit, same aspect colors. Stat line's different though. He's a 4/4. He was a 4/5 with ambush, right? With that, when you play an event, deal 2 damage. He's got a 4/4, but on attack, he can exhaust the defender and deal 1 damage to it. All right, so we're already looking at that. If it's a unit, which is an interesting word choice. I'm not sure what that means. If it's just explaining that a base isn't a unit, but is the base even is a defender, or it could be thinking like a planetary shield sort of thing, right? That's on the ground that can defend against space, since this is gonna be such a space centric set. I don't know. That's just a first thought. I'm sure there's people will explain more and the rulings will come out. But like I said, he's a 4-drop 4/4. Okay stat line, right? That's like a 4-lom without the ambush. The on attack is pretty good if you get it off. But he's got this other thing, kind of like smuggling, right? Piloting, so you pay 2, right? Instead of 4, you pay 2, but yellow black, which can also come in like the hotshot blaster, right? What if there's someone that's piloting with different colors on off aspects? Like let's say there's a guy that's, I don't know, red white, right? And his piloting is 3, but green white, right? So if his piloting only really is gonna pull off if you're doing green, right? So I'm assuming you're gonna do a red green deck, but it could also mean that red unit you're only playing it for the piloting, right? And bringing it into a green deck without red. That's just a hypothetical. I don't know. But so he's piloting, you pay 2, same color aspects. And this time is the attached unit gains on attack, so the same thing as his unit, but he's upgrading a ship with +2/+2 or vehicle. That's for 2 you're upgrading a vehicle with +2/+2. I could see that being you play first turn play a ship. I don't know. You could do like the Cartel Spacer, Pirated Starfighter, something like that, and then you're just attaching this next turn, right? Giving it +2/+2, and it's going to be exhausting people and dealing damage. I mean, it's going to be interesting. So that's the piloting keyword. Like so smuggle comes with its own alternate cost you play instead of you pay to play the card instead of the usual. So as for boss ability, being able to ping enemy units for the little bits of damage, synergize well with Boba's leader ability. Anytime you can get enemies' units health low, make the opponent's decision on where to assign the indirect damage all more difficult. Yeah, so you're pinging a lot in this deck. It's kind of like what we're doing with Django so far. We're pinging, but this looks like a new iteration on it with new mechanics. Looks like we got a new event too. No disintegrations. Fantastic art. Fantastic art on that. That looks really good. 3-drop red black. No disintegrations. Deal damage to a non-leader unit equal to 1 less than its remaining HP. So, right, you play this on like a 6 health guy. They're now down to 1 health, right? You deal 5 damage to it. That's going to trigger with the new Boba leader's whole indirect damage thing, right? You're dealing damage to him from non-combat, right? And so you're pinging him with Boba. You're getting it's basically, if you're playing this with Boba, it's like a 3-drop Vanquish or a 3-drops kill card, right? That triggers really well with this new Boba leader. So this is going to be interesting to just slide into the red-black Boba leader. And it looks like we have indirect damage focus ships. So we have the Hunting Aggressor, which looks like that's IG-88's ship, or the same model as his, right? It's a 4-drop red aspect, 3/6. So what are we looking at for stats? Not bad, right? Not bad. Indirect damage you deal to opponents is increased by 1. So he's going to really synergize well with this red-black leader, Boba leader, especially with no disintegration. So you're doing 2 off of Boba's leader after playing this. So this all looks like an aggressive pinging package, right, from this. We also have a Zygerian Starhopper. I'm assuming this is going to be in the set, or in this deck, so it's going to be a red, yellow, black, I would only assume. Same thing, 2-drop, 2/3 stats. He's got Cartel Spacer stats, so you can nicely slot him into that kind of that spot of your yellow, black decks. And he's got a when defeated, so he's kind of like the Magna Guard ship, or the P-38, right? It doesn't have the on play, but has the when defeated, you deal 2 indirect to a player. So that's huge. I mean, for 1 less, and you're not getting the on play, you're getting the when defeat. And then, I mean, that's gonna be pretty good. And then we're moving into Fett's Fire Spray. So we got another Slave 1 here already. This one's cheaper. It's all black. It's a black aspect, right? Not yellow. Not yellow black. So it's 4 drop for 4/4, so less stats, right? Not bad. Not bad stats, because it has the when played and on attack. So when played and on attack, you're dealing 1 indirect damage to a player. And if you have Boba Fett as a unit, upgrade or leader, so it works on all of them, you deal 2 instead. So this is going to be a crazy ping. I could see this being like a mid-range. I mean, you could do anything. This is going to be good. This is going to be fun to use for sure. I'm already at 15 minutes on this. It's going to be a longer video, so we're going to go into Han Solo now. So yeah, he's the second leader, right? He's the second leader shown. It only made sense. We have awesome art on this Han Solo, right? I mean, this Empire Han Solo, it looks like. That's really good. So yellow, white, so he's just like Han 1, right? Unlike Boba, he's different than his first. Boba's different than his first iteration. We got same things as Han 1. And he's got an action where you tap him, right? Reveal the top card of your deck, then attack with a unit. If the revealed card and that unit have a different odd cost, that unit gets +1/+0 for this attack. So this is a really good ability because it's a boost, right? It lets anything that lets you attack with someone without your action being attack with him, right? And then giving him a boost for triggering something. That's always going to be helpful in this game. This game's it's action based, right? So anything that lets you kind of do something, and reveal the top card, right? Your opponent's gonna see it too, but it's kind of let you see your deck. You're doing kind of 2 things at once. That's a good card. The whole have different odd costs is gonna be crazy to do. So you're gonna be stuffing this deck, like I was saying in the live stream, stuffing this deck with odd costed cards, right? You're going with the 1, 3, 5, 7s, Han lucky 7s. That whole thing that was going on with the first set Han, that's gonna continue with this, I think. You're my only hope. You're gonna be playing. Don't get cocky. Doing the whole lucky 7s thing is going to be super prevalent with this leader for sure. And he has the same thing. So epic action, you control 5 or more resources, choose one. Deploy this leader. He's a 3/7, right? No abilities. Or make him upgrade on a friendly vehicle without a pilot on it. So when he the same thing as Boba, makes it a leader, has a when deployed and buffs it for +3/+4 instead of +4/+4. But when you deploy it as an upgrade, for each friendly unit upgrade that has an odd cost, ready a resource. So we're already looking at like an equivalent to the first set Boba, who's suspended now, obviously. You're restanding your resources, right? Which is huge. This is huge. Huge gain you're gonna get on like an extender play, right? Play your stuff, flip him. You got a few, 3 drops, 1 drops. Even a 5 drop because you're on your 5 resource turn, right? You're already readying 2 or 3 resources now. So, I mean, it's huge. It's literally just like the Boba. You're readying 2 or 3 resources that turn, from Boba leader side and flip turn or flip side. I mean, this is going to be, this is literally the Boba equivalent for yellow white. So we're going with Han Solo. His leader ability has you check the top card of your deck and then perform a boosted attack with one of your units, so long as those 2 cards have different odd costs. So like a 3 and then a 5, or 1 and a 3, whatever. Naturally, this means Han's whole deck is full of odd cost cards to maximize its effectiveness. Yeah, so you're definitely going to be doing like a lucky 7s kind of thing. And then just like the Boba leader, you can choose to deploy him as a pilot or on the ground. But deploying him as the pilot obviously lets you, restand your resources, which is going to be awesome, right? You're going to be extending your play that turn. It's a huge resource advantage that turn. Yeah. So you can, like it says, you could potentially ready all of your resources, and you're getting 2 turns. Basically, you're getting 2 full resource turns in 1 turn. So that's just huge mid game right there. Because you get on 5 resources, that's mid game. Right, we're typically not going over 8 or 9 resources depending on your deck. And we're looking at some of his cards, right? We get a new Millennium Falcon. I mean, we were thinking of that. We already knew that was going to happen with the new Slave 1 or Fett's Fire Spray. It's a 3 drop just like the original, but it loses the yellow, right? It keeps heroism, but loses the cunning. 3/4, same stats. Rebel was the first one Rebel? I can't remember, but this one's got Rebel, so this is crazy, right? You're already getting synergy with Rebel deck like Leia or Sabine. You could definitely throw this in, right? And its ability is you can play or deploy one additional pilot on this unit, right? So you're putting the Han unit, a Han leader on this, and another pilot unit, which I'm assuming is going to be Chewbacca, right? From what we're talking about. He gets +1/+0 for each pilot on it. So you're making this a 5/4 if you maximize the pilots on this. For 3, 5/4 is crazy. It doesn't come in ready like the first Millennium Falcon, but I mean, it's coming in with a 5/4 for 3. And then we have, of course, Han Solo pilot ship alongside his faithful first mate Chewbacca, who is a green, white, 5-drop, 5/6 with an ability. If you play him on ground, this unit can't be defeated or returned to hand by enemy card ability. So it has a barrier built into him. Can't be bounced. Can't be defeated. Has to be combat damage, I'm assuming. Maybe unpreventable damage go through. I'm not sure. We have to find the ruling on that. Or you can play him as a pilot for 3. So for 2 less, you play him for 3. And the attached unit that it goes on gains the same thing, where it can't be defeated or bounced by abilities. And it's buffing the ship by +3/+3. So we put that on that Millennium Falcon, right? 6, 7, plus another one for having a pilot. So we're looking at 7, 7. And then you throw that Han on him for, what is that, 10, 11, 11, right? Yeah, 11 power, 11 HP. And can't be bounced or removed. I mean, that's a game ender. And that's going to be... this is the deck I am super interested in playing between these two. I was interested in the Boba deck, but this deck seems like if you can pull this off, that is a game ender. I mean, that's swinging over stuff. You throw breaking in, you're getting saboteurs in case there's those pesky sentinels. You're going over them 11 with breaking in that's 13. Like this is going past the sentinel for 13 if you're lucky, right? That's all about his deck. His deck's kind of like a luck based thing. Then we got some other cards. We got Never Tell Me the Odds. So it's another event, 3-drop, yellow, white. Discard 3 from an opponent's deck. So already great. You're milling them and you're milling yourself, right? So hopefully there's a way to play from your discard. But you're dealing damage to a unit equal to the number of cards with an odd cost discarded this way. So if you're stuffing your deck, right, with the odd cards, you're automatically doing 3 for 3. Discarding your cards, that's whatever. But you're discarding your opponent's cards. So that's, less power for them to use, less resource. And potentially doing at least 4, 5, or 6 damage to someone for 3. So that's that's pretty big. That's pretty good. Just hopefully you can play cards from your discard with something soon. Something that would help or be a more reliable way. Because I know there's a few cards, but that's a sweet card. We got Death Space Skirmisher. So this looks like a 3-drop space unit for 3/3. When it's yellow, and when played, if you control another space unit, you may exhaust the unit. So this is kind of like a cartel spacer, but that doesn't have black on it, right? So anyone can run it without the aspect penalty. It's got kind of like a cartel spacer vibes with better stats, right? Comes out 1 turn later, but has 3/3, and it can exhaust any unit, not just a 4 or less, and it has to be a space and not just a yellow to proc the ability. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And we have Tandem Assault. This is a green, so it looks like it's going to be yellow, white, green for the new Han in the spotlight. This is a 1-drop event. Attack with a space unit. If you do attack with a ground unit, and that ground unit gets +2/+0 for the attack. So this is going to be, again, this is just going with that synergy with that, the Rebel Strike, or Rebel Assault card, the 1-drop event. Attack pattern Delta, kind of like that thing. So hopefully, I'm assuming there's going to be more vehicles that go combat space to ground, kind of like with that yellow ship we have already, or swoop down. So it's gonna be like kind of going along those lines. That's gonna be pretty sweet to run with this, especially with the with the Millennium Falcon. You can just attack anytime you're doing like a dual attack for 1. That's just, like I said, it's a huge a huge game extender, right? Because you're doing 2 actions in 1. You're cheating out an action, so that's huge. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna be covering more of this when we get more news. I'm gonna be ending the video here because I'll have another video up on these Carbonite packs, the new products, right? We're getting a little bit of detail on these products, but I'll be posting that after this. So like I said, subscribe, like, comment, stay tuned for the other videos We're gonna have have a lot of conversation, have a lot of fun with this upcoming set, and just have fun chatting. So, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.